Nicholas, most people called him Nicky, but he liked Nick best of all, loved going on picnics with his family. Like today, Mom packed the basket with his favorite food. Dad piled the car with great games to play. Kelsey, his sister, always brought books. Kelsey, silly. What was so good about books? Nick's favorite place for a picnic was the beach. As he got into the car, he asked, Dad, where are we going today? Are we going to the beach? Nicholas, that's what his dad always called him. You'll just have to wait and see. Nicholas loved the beach. It had dunes, sand dunes, some so high they seemed to be mountains. Or you could just build castles next to the sea. And best of all, seagulls. Nick loved seagulls at the beach. Sitting back in his seat, Nick decided to discover the mysterious picnic site by spying through the car window as his dad drove down the road. As the family van followed a curve around the bend, suddenly Nick saw the beach. Kelsey, Kelsey, Nick screamed. We're going to the beach. Now settle down, Nicky, his mother said. Once we are out of the car and away from all the other people, you can yell as much as you want. Nick could hardly wait for the car to stop. As soon as it did, he unfastened his seatbelt, took off his shoes, opened the car door, and leapfrogged right into the sand. Yowie, he screamed. This sand is hot. Nick's mother hurried from the car and sped to him as fast as she could. With hugging arms, she gathered him from the hot sand, then carried him back to the car seat. Oh, Nicky, she said, let me kiss those poor little feet. Nick, not liking to be treated like a baby, said, Geez, Mom, they don't hurt that much. Isn't there something else you could do? His mother reached his shoes from the rear car seat. She slipped first the right, then the left on his feet. Nicky, I did think of something else, she said. She leaned forward and kissed him right on the forehead. Oh, Mom! Once more, Nick leaped from the car into the sand. I've got to go now. I've got mountains to climb and things to find, he called back. Nicholas, his father roared, don't get lost by wandering about. Nick never got lost. Why did his dad say the same thing every time he went exploring? Nick turned and ambled away, wondering what could he discover today. Space aliens. That would be a good thing to find. If space aliens came to visit, they surely would be at the beach. Any space alien with half a brain would know that this is the best place in the whole world. Accompanied by visions of aliens from space, Nick walked toward his first sand dune. Climbing to the crest, Nick knelt down and slowly spied over the top, hoping to be lucky on his first try to find a space alien. Oh, darn, he said to himself. Nothing here but an old boot stuck in the sand. Hey, maybe it's a hideout for a real small space alien, he thought. Nick ran down that dune as fast as he could. The boot was turned upside down in the sand. Its sole, worn out and separated from the rest, appeared to be straining its mouth to the sky. Nick threw his hand inside. His fingers curled around where toes used to be. Easing his arm farther, he grabbed the boot's tongue and tugged so hard the old shoe came free. His pull so mighty he went flying back, crashing to the ground. His head hit the sand. Smack! His arms were stretched high over himself. At their end he held the old boot. First disappointed, then suddenly startled, he saw a monster scrambling straight from the shoe down his wrist, across his arm. Yowie! He yelled. Space aliens! He threw that boot as far as he could. With his feet thrashing about, he finally stood, stumbling. Then he ran as fast as his feet would. Suddenly stopping, he turned about and saw a small sea crab running as quickly as a crab could. With his heart bursting in his chest, Nick called out, "No, wait! There's no reason to be afraid of me." Then, insightfully, he thought, surely no reason for me to be afraid of a crab from the sea. Disenchanted with his shoe crab escapade, Nick walked toward the next dune, his shoveling feet propelling grains of sand to loop through the air, then back again. First faintly, then more with each step, Nick heard noise. No, not noise, voices. Small voices that were laughing and shouting. They must be on the dune's other side, he thought. Gazing, it was a very high climb, but if he could not find aliens, finding new fun friends was a great adventure too. Nick started up that steep sand heap, climbing and sliding and climbing and sliding until he finally reached the very top. He was terribly tired. Oh, what if no one's there, he thought. Then, peering down, he found what he sought. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, oh no, 6, 7 playing girls and boys. Cupping his hand around his mouth, Nick called out, "Can I play too?" "Sure," the biggest boy bellowed back. This was going to be great, Nick just knew. He started to join, then slipped on the slope. He rolled down that dune as rapid as a runaway tire, his head in the sand, then his feet, then his head again. The biggest boy babbling something to all the others. The biggest boy smiled. The others all laughed. Then a girl, opening her mouth, let out a gasp. "Oh my," she said as she lifted her hands to cover herself. "Hi," Nick said, first to the biggest boy, then to the girl covering her mouth. "I must have looked funny rolling down that dune." The little girl said, "Oh, that was funny too. Then we saw your face. What did you do?" "My face? What's wrong with my face?" he said. "It was all right this morning when I got out of bed." "You mean you didn't hurt yourself?" said friend number 3. "But the bump, the holes, that would really hurt me." "Doesn't it bother you?" said friend number 4. "That sore right there in the middle of your face?" "Yeah, you freak," said new friend 5. "You can't play here in our special place." Then gliding his fingers around to his mouth, up to his nose, then to his eyes, to his forehead, he found nothing to his surprise. "Why, I can't find," he was about to say, when suddenly he noticed she, his new seaside friend, had no nose. No nose at all. He pointed to his. "You don't have one of these." The little girl, both hands at her side, raised her right, gently caressing his nose. "I didn't hurt myself," she proposed. "No, no," Nick cried, bringing his hand to hers. "This is my nose. Where's yours?" "No one has a nose," the little girl said. Nick looked all around, to his front, then behind. She's right. There wasn't a nose to be found. "Everyone has a nose," Nick cried out. "Could it be you are the ones I first sought to see? Are you the space aliens I set out to find?" Space aliens, the biggest boy whined. What's the matter with you? Are you blind? Yeah, said not so friendly number 5. Look all around. We're all the same kind. You're the one who's different. You don't look like me. Then someone from behind hit Nick in the back. He fell first to his hands, then to his knee. Without warning, weakened by tears, hurt by their words, he struggled to stand, wavered, and then finally stood. Now, wanting to leave, he whispered, My mom, my dad, they're probably looking for me. I wanted to be a friend. It's not right to be mean to someone you meet who is different from everyone else that you see. Just because you don't know me, just because I'm not like you, doesn't mean you can be rude. It's not right, your attitude. Nick turned and walked from the 7, his eyes filled with tears, their dampness washing down his cheek, falling away to the dry sand. Nick crawled up that dune, standing fast, so steep. If only they'd been nice. If only they would have been his friends. At the dune's top, he turned and gazed back. The small girl, in a quivering voice, called, I'm sorry, a tear in her eye, her mouth in a frown. Nick tried to smile back. His face wouldn't work. He turned and stepped down the dune, then up, then down another. Finally, at the bottom of the last, exhausted, he heard a seagull sound. Then from a distance, a call. Not a seagull. His name. Nicky, Nicky, his mother exclaimed. Nick ran to his mother and leaped into her arms. I love you, Mom, he proclaimed. He kissed her, this time without any shame. Jumping down, he ran to his dad. I love you, Nick said. Dad looked to Mom, Mom back to Dad. He smiled, she shrugged. Nick made them both so glad. Bye, Nick said. He turned and ran away. Racing to Kelsey, his dad heard him say, Kelsey, Kelsey, read me a book. When she said yes, he yelled, Hooray!